If I could look back and say, point out one thing that I see in common with men and women of God, it is their willingness to be shut up to God. Now, when I speak about prayer, I want you to know something. Many people, when they think about prayer, the only thing they think about is intercession and lists. Because in all those discipleship notebooks we've got lists of things that we're supposed to pray about. My dear friend, intercession is extremely important. But intercession is not the same thing, or is not all there is to do with prayer. Intercession is maybe a small thing of what prayer really is. Prayer is communion with God. It is a desire to be with God. Jesus was a man of prayer, and it wasn't just intercession. God is not some cosmic slot machine that if we pull at His lever enough times we're going to get what we want. Prayer is not just duty. It's not just something I do because it's the right thing to do. He was a man of prayer, and I think it's very, very important here that it doesn't tell us about how He prayed. Just that He was praying there. I think the emphasis is that He departed from men. He departed from the ministry. He departed from even the need. And He went not necessarily to resolve some specific purpose. He went to be with His Father. Isn't it amazing? When was the last time you thought, I want to be with God. I just want to be with Him. I don't even necessarily want to learn anything. I don't necessarily want to learn a deep truth that I can go back and preach in some conference so that everybody will know how smart I am. I don't want to learn something flashy. I don't want to, I just don't. I just want to be with God. Isn't that amazing? We talk so much about a relationship with God, don't we? Always. Relationship with God. What does that mean? Well, it means to know Him. Well, does that word just mean factually to know Him? Is that what Jesus meant in John 17:3? This eternal life, that they might know Thee? That they might have correct data about Thee? The word know, we all know this. Not necessarily in the Greek, but the Greek carrying over from the Hebrew, it's a word meaning intimacy. It's a word used to even describe sexual intimacy. To know a woman, to know a man, to know God. You see, theology is not an end in itself, it's a means. We need truth as a foundation. We need to know Him so that we can know Him. We need to be men and women who walk with God. Not just knowing right things, not just doing right things, but knowing Him. Men, you are called primarily not to wait upon other men. You are called primarily to wait upon God. You are not at the beck and call of other men. You are at the beck and call of God. You are to be in a way like those seraphs, those burning ones that stood there before the Lord in Isaiah. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord high and lifted up, and His train filled the temple, and above Him stood the seraph, each one having 6 wings. With 2 they covered their face, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they did fly. The 6 wings are, I think, in a way, if they had been any other situation, it would recognize how rapidly they were ready to go out and do God's will, to serve Him at any moment. They were burning. They were not burning with their own flame. It was a reflection of the fire of God. They had their feet covered, and they had their faces covered in honor and in shame. But they were ready at a moment's call to be sent out from Him. That's the way you are to be. You are to dwell enough with God so that when you go to men, it is always going to men from God.